Everybody knows the man named George Herman Ruth, one of the greatest baseball players of all time, setting formidable records in home runs, runs batted in, and on-base percentage. His name became a pinnacle of both baseball and American culture. However, Ruth was not always successful and happy during his career as a major league ball player, and very few people know of the dark events that took place during the off-season of 1926 to 27. The year was 1926, and the Yankees were pitted against the Cardinals in the 24th World Series, with 3 games won by each team. In the 7th and deciding game, the Yankees down by 1 run and 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, George Herman Ruth, the runner on first base, attempted a steal of second. Ruth was thrown out by 10 feet.
You're out of here!
The Yankees lost the game and the series. In the history of baseball, it was the only World Series that ended with a base runner being thrown out. Ruth did not even confront his team after their loss, even though the manager owed him $174 from their 8-hour poker game the previous night. After that final game, dejected and depressed, Ruth left Yankee Stadium, deciding to walk home. 4 days later, he was found on Shaver Avenue in Syracuse, New York. He walked back to New York City. Desperate to start a new life after his humiliation, Ruth looked for new jobs in the city. First, he turned to the arts and auditioned for a local theater production.
Please begin.
To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against the sea of troubles and by opposing end them. To die, to sleep, no more. And by sleep to say we end the heartache and the 1,000 natural shocks. Oh, somewhere in this favored land the sun is shining bright. The band is playing somewhere, and somewhere hearts are light. And somewhere men are laughing, and somewhere children shout. But there is no joy in Mudville, for the mighty Casey has struck out.
Cut!
That's not even close. That's nowhere near correct. You are out of here!
The rest of the team and I began to worry about George after that series. Most of the guys lost touch with him, but the few that did remain in touch said he took a turn for the worst. He lost his hearty appetite and a lot of weight. He was eating 1 small meal a day, a ball of twine. I later heard that he tried to reconnect with his deceased mother through a medium.
Ruth had in fact tried to speak with his deceased mother Catherine through one of the local psychics, hoping that his mother still would not think of him as a failure.
Okay, for this exercise, you're going to need to raise your hand so I can connect to your mother's spirit through your mind. Mr. Ruth, sir, for this exercise, we're going to need you to remove your glove. All right, we'll just have to try this with your other hand instead. Now, what would you like to say to your mother?
That I was safe. It was a bad call. I haven't disappointed her.
You were out! And you're still a big disappointment. You should have followed my advice and become a stockbroker.
Mother, please listen to me.
I told you over and over that if you chose business, you'd be a millionaire by 1930. But I guess you just live to ignore my advice, don't you?
After receiving comfort from his mother, Ruth decided to move away from New York City and live with his sister Mammy in Philadelphia, hoping that spending time with his sweet young niece could help him get through this long off-season.
I win.
Oh man, not again. How could I lose?
If you don't stop being a baby, people won't want to play with you.
In that following season of 1927, Ruth regained his appetite, hit 60 home runs, and led them to victory in the World Series. And from that day on, he adopted the nickname Baby, as a reminder of what his niece called him. History shortened it to Babe. Baby Ruth lived on to become the most iconic baseball player, holding some records that remain to this day unbroken. He is remembered as one of the greatest role models for baseball players and Americans alike.